Hey, it's Chef Scoobs. Welcome back to Scoob's Kitchen. Today I'm talking with Alfredo Linares. From selling street tacos in Mexico City to pasta chef at a Michelin star Curtis Stone restaurant in Los Angeles, Alfredo has had an amazing ride through his culinary career. Before we get started, just a reminder that if you enjoy the show, don't forget to leave a review. And if you want early access to episodes plus exclusive monthly bonus episodes, consider becoming one of our Patreon members. You can find details at patreon.com/ScoobsKitchen. All right, let's do it. Alfredo, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Scoobs?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk to you. I really appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me today.
So, you live in the LA area?
Yes, I live on Culver City, LA.
How long you been there?
Well, I've been living here in LA for almost 19 years.
If you've been there that long, you've probably seen a ton of changes. I mean, what's LA like? I haven't been there in years. What's it like now?
I remember like in 2005 when I used to walk on downtown LA, it was like a lot of parking lots, right? But if you walk there now, it's a ton of buildings, like apartments, businesses. Like it grew up so much. Like the parts of Hollywood, it's just constructions, a lot of business happening. It has changed a lot, dude. You know,
the last time I was there, they have it's called LA Live, right? That whole central area with all that entertainment and stuff.
By Olympic, where the Staples Center is.
Yeah, right down there.
Yeah. They used to do the X Games on that parking lot.
Oh, dude, I totally remember that. Oh my God, I totally remember that.
Yeah, I used to ride the bus from Olympic Boulevard back in the days, and I used to see the X Games there. I was like, oh, dude, that was so cool. Now it's all about the Nokia Theater, the Staples Center. Like, it's pretty dope, dude.
When I was growing up, there wasn't much to do down in downtown LA, except that's where we went to get fake IDs. I was 16, and I don't know if you know where Alvarado Street is.
Of course.
You know Alvarado?
Everybody knows. I was about to ask you, where did you get it?
Dude, oh my God. So yeah, I was 16, and so there were four of us, and it's like, you know, four white kids in a car going down there. Now that I think about it, it's like that's the dumbest thing that we could have done.
No, I think that's pretty dumb.
But yeah, we drove down there. There was no GPS. There was no Google.
Yeah.
It was just we heard like, oh yeah, you got to go to Alvarado Street. They'll take care of you. So we did. We drove down there. We get on this street where we don't even know where we're going or like what to look for. And then all of a sudden, there's this dude on the side who holds up his fingers, like his thumb and his first finger, and wiggles it in the shape of ID. And clearly we stick out, like this guy knows what we want. And so we pull over and he's like, you want IDs? And we're like, yeah, we want IDs. He's like, okay, follow me. So he was walking on the sidewalk and we followed him in our car, middle of downtown LA. He's like, okay, park here. And then we got out, we walk in this little shitty building. It was like some kind of storefront or whatever. He's like, California driver's license. It'll be $30 each. It was it, $30. Give me the money now and come back in 20 minutes. We're like, what? Dude? We're like, what the fuck? This guy's going to jack our money. But shit, man, it worked. We came back 20 minutes. Sure enough, the dude had four IDs and they looked legit. They worked. But the problem was, this was like 2000. And it's right when they started doing scans of IDs.
Yes. I totally remember, dude.
At liquor stores, and mine got jacked. Like it worked for months, and then it got jacked because this dude scanned it, and he's like, "This is fake. So either you can give it to me and get the hell out of here, or I can call the cops."
Shit, give it to you. Dude, something similar happened to me. I went the same place because I was underage as well. But what I did was I had a Mexican ID, you know. So everywhere I go, they would say like, "Oh, this looks fake," but they couldn't scan it because it was a Mexican ID. And I remember I went to this show. It was for K-Rock Acoustic Christmas on Universal Studios. It was a whole metal show. And I was in line to get a beer. And the lady was checking the ID. She was a Latino girl. And she was looking up like, damn, I'm fucked right here.
Oh, shit.
And she was concerned about like, dude, something's wrong with it. I'm like, it might be new. I just got it. And so yeah, dude, like I relate to that story. That was great, man. But yeah, like downtown right now at night, it's like, super cool to walk around. There's too many bars open, and I don't know if you remember the Grand Central Market.
No,
it's like on Broadway in the 4th Street. It's a great place for you. Right now, it has like too many restaurants. Like so there's food for all over the world. You have Indian, you have Hawaiian, you have Chinese, Mexicans, of course. And that's a great place where you can go and find like a little bites here and there.
Before LA, you're from Mexico, right?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Mexico City. My parents moved to the south. I don't know if you're familiar with Acapulco. Like if you heard them.
I've heard of it. I have not been there, no.
So it's in the south. So that's where I kind of grew up. I grew up in a small town from the age of 5 to 16, something like that. Yeah, I was living with my mother.
Mexico City, I know a lot of people that have been there, and I haven't been there, but everybody loves it. And the food, man, I'm sure the food's...
Oh, the food is great. Like right on Mexico City, you can find food stands in every corner. And even though they're selling like the same type of food, let's say the same tacos, they taste different and they're all good. I don't know what they do, but and this is funny. If you go to Mexico and you see like a food stand and everything, and you see like 20 dogs around that's where you go. Because even the dogs know that is like super delicious. And it's like, oh yeah, let's go over there.
That's what I miss about Southern California is the little side of the road mom and pop food stands, especially Mexican food. I love Mexican food. Tacos, burrito, man. We had this place, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's called El Burrito Jr.
I haven't heard of it.
No.
Okay.
There you go. Do me a favor. Go check out El Burrito Jr.
Yeah, I'm going to write it down right now.
It's either in Torrance or Redondo Beach.
El Burrito Junior.
Yeah, you got to check it out, man. And I'd love to hear your opinion.
Of course, man. Of course. Yeah, I would love to try it.
I think you told me you started selling tacos on the street, right? Was that California or Mexico?
No, I was in Mexico. I quit school at a young age. I was like, fuck, school is not for me. My mom says, well, you got to get a job. Like, you're living for free, So luckily for me, like kind of being on the streets all the time, like I knew already like the vendors. It just happens to start helping them, like carrying the plates, all the stuff, and slowly, like keep an eye what they're doing, how to do it, like how to serve the tacos, how they make the salsas. I don't know, man. It just caught my eye, and I kept with those guys for like solid 3 months because like I was young and I didn't want to work.
3 months is a long time.
And but I still remember it, dude. That's the funny part because somehow we got like picture image how they did everything. This whole street, we used to call it the street taco because there's just food left and right for like the whole block, and all the smells, all the flavors of everything just comes into that block, and you can see the whole town in that block.
So I got to ask you, you're like the world's expert on tacos. What makes the best taco?
I got to say, you got to let it marinate in beer. You had to make it super tender with the flavor of beer, the yeast of it, and of course, like the spices and everything. But the way I know how to make tacos, we marinate it with beer overnight.
Any beer or a specific beer?
Modelo Especial.
That's my favorite Mexican beer.
Oh, there we go. Then you love the tacos, man.
In SoCal, you grew up on. We had Corona, we had Sol, and we couldn't afford the Modelo at the time, but All right, so you marinated in beer. Green sauce or red sauce? What do you think?
For me, green sauce. For me, it's like the best. Like, and every time I ask if I go and buy tacos, which is the most spicy one, and he always drags the green one. Yeah, green salsa for me is the best. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, I guess, but how about you?
I gotta go red sauce.
Red sauce?
Like you, yeah. I like spicy. If you can get like a fresh pico and make it spicy, man, that's it for me. Yeah. I don't like the real thick. Sometimes the sauces get too thick and it just covers everything up. Just a thin sauce that's peppery and some fresh veggies in there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you two choices. There's plenty of choices, but barbacoa or carnitas.
Ooh, carnitas.
In the beer?
Yeah. And the beer, yeah, definitely. Carnitas. That'll be number one, though.
Damn, I'm hungry now.
Dude.
So you went from tacos to getting into pasta, right? I mean, you are a pasta chef, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But how did you end up at pasta?
It's a quite nice story. I was unemployed, and I had this friend who was working at an Italian restaurant. So I went in there and they say like, this is the guy I know. And they introduced me. It's like, all right. So they throw me into the line and to start sauteing, And, but I met this chef His name is Francesco. He was a young guy from Italy, actually. The way he cooked, like he was so excited, so happy, and he was like, Alfredo, come here, smell this, taste it. That kind of got into me, you know, like the passion he had to making the sauces for the pasta, and it was fresh pasta every day. So he taught me a lot. And a few years later, I found another Italian restaurant, and the pastas weren't that great because the lady who was making pastas, she wasn't that good. And I was comparing, I'm like, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this. I was comparing. So I asked the chef, like, can you let me do the pasta? He's like, all right. So I went into there making the pasta and I start feeling it. I'm like, ooh, and I start feeling, and I said, like, this could go with gray sauce. This could go with this gray sauce, And I made the fresh pasta, I made the noodles, and then I jump out and cook it. And that's when it happened. I even got chills right now just to think about it.
I could tell. Dude, your passion for making pasta is phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, dude, my girlfriend was so mad at me because I speak about pasta all the time.
I could eat pasta every day.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Like I say, especially when it's fresh pasta. Oh, I love that thing. And it feels like it speaks to me, dude. I'm telling you that much.
Rolling gnocchi has got to be one of the biggest pain in the ass things. You make handmade gnocchi?
I have tried a few times. Not very successful.
You stick to the noodles.
I stick to the noodles. I was trying actually not that long ago, and they just didn't come out right that time.
It's one of those things, if you see someone do it that's really good at it, you're like, that's fucking easy. Like, I can do that. And then you try it and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and it is all on the hands, like the texture when you're feeling it. Everything is there,
My wife and I have been going hard on carbonara lately.
Okay.
Oh, that's my favorite. It's harder to get good pasta over here, so we'll use spaghetti noodles. Sometimes we'll use like a penne. All right, let's walk through the carbonara. What type of pasta is your go-to?
I will say very classic, like bow tie. What's the other one? Casarese. Casarese would be nice with it. Like a small rolled noodle.
And then I'll put some guanciale in there, or
yeah, man, I'm getting hungry too, though.
Yeah, you got to put some meat in. Yeah, because it's where I'm at. It's dinner time for you. You're just doing breakfast. What do you garnish your carbonara with?
I'll do fresh chives.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Fresh chives. I don't know why, but I always love that. Like the spicy thing, a little like sparkles on your mouth when you buy the chive. Like I think it goes perfect with it.
It adds so much flavor. I use chives for pretty much everything that I eat on a daily basis. And I don't speak Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese at all. And so we know like a few select words and phrases. Okay. And we had to figure out what chive was because it was so important. So now that's one of the only words. Cebolinho. What is it in Spanish?
Cebollina. Cebollita.
Yeah. I mean, Spanish and Portuguese
they're very close.
They're similar. Some of the words sound similar, but if you write it down, the words look similar on paper. But man, the language is so different. Like on a day to day, like Spanish. Like we just went to Spain a couple weeks ago, and I don't speak Spanish either. But the words kind of make sense when people are talking to me. Like I kind of get what they're saying.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
In Portugal, dude, it's like they're speaking Russian. Like, no joke, it sounds more Russian than Spanish. It's crazy because these two countries are right next to each other.
It's just like, this is an example that a word I know. Mujer, this is in Spanish, right? Muller, or something like that is on Portuguese. It's mujer, muller. It sounds...
I should know that. now I'm embarrassed.
Nah, it's funny because I feel like I know how to read Portuguese. If you give me like a sentence in Portuguese, I feel like I understand it perfectly.
No shit. Damn.
Yeah. It's like kind of the same with Italian.
I have heard that if you speak Spanish, you can kind of figure out what they're saying in Italian a little bit because the roots of the words are the same. But I was that dumbass kid in high school because, I mean, you know where I grew up. It's where you live. Like everybody speaks Spanish. You take Spanish in school. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take German. Like,
okay.
Like that sounds like a good idea because my family's German. But so I took German and I fucked up, man. I should have taken
No,
Spanish.
it's funny. I heard of that story so many times on the restaurant, especially. Will the service? They're like, "Oh man, I wish I can speak Spanish. Only took Spanish, or they took French, or German, or any other language, but not Spanish." And now they Spanish, especially that though.
When you're 15, you don't think about these things like, yeah, you know what? I think Spanish would be useful. You're like, no, I think German's cool. I'm going to do that. Or Latin or something.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. You know, it's funny how I learned English? Drinking.
Hey, man, that doesn't sound too crazy.
I kind of lost my fear or like the shame of people making fun of me or my accent and stuff like that. And that's how I learned English stuff. And the little words that I knew, I always practice it like the same story. I practice it with someone else's, but I just wanted to keep practicing, you know. And of course, I was wrong, so it was easier.
What about TV? Were you watching a lot of English TV?
That's funny you said. Yes, I did. The 70s shows.
Nice.
That was till the day I still watch it. I learned a lot from it, like the American culture, especially. How you get along with your parents, with your friends.
We've met some people here that are English speakers from, a lot of them are from the UK, and they've lived here like 30 years. And at home, they still speak English. So you've been in the US 20 years. When you're at home, do you speak Spanish or do you speak English?
I speak English.
Really?
Yeah. My dad got married here, so I had a stepbrother, and he was born here. He speaks like Spanish and English, but his main language is English. He was one of the persons who always helped me and not making fun of my accent. So for the first 4 months, we speak Spanish, but then it was nothing but English. So every time I go see him, English. I have few friends that speak Spanish, but I don't see him that often. But at home, my girl speaks English. So most of the time I speak English.
Going back to the pasta making, you ended up working at a celebrity chef-owned restaurant in LA as the pasta chef. You hit the top of your game.
I did. And I'm telling you, man, that was a blessing. I had a rough time on a previous restaurant, not this one. And so I was looking for a job as well. And I have a friend, you know, like these connections in restaurants helps you a lot. So it's like, hey, man, they're looking for a cook and stuff like that. I'm like, all right. So I went to the interview. I spoke to the chef and I said, like, this is what I do, blah, 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 blah. It's like, that's perfect. That's what we need. He shows me the bag, everything. Like, this is going to be your station. It's a big board to make pasta. I'm like, am I going to be here? He's like, yeah, dude, this is your space. I was like, hell yeah.
You're like, shit, yeah.
And right away, the first thing is like, okay, I want you to make me parpadella pasta. And I was like, what? Yeah, like, do you say you know? I'm like, all right. And this got me right away because not a lot of places, when you hire and you say, oh, I know how to do this, and they're like, okay, do it. But I made it, and then, I stayed there for a whole year.
I saw some pictures on your Instagram with a Michelin plaque.
Yeah, when I started working, it was like right after kind of the pandemic. How it happened, it still kind of shocks me. We were just doing what we love. To get a star is just like unbelievable because we were just, like I said, doing our thing. You know, you got two guys like doing what they love. You know, everybody taking all their stuff. And then when you get the news, you're like, wait, what? Like, what happened? You know, like it still took us like 2 weeks. We look at each other like, are we really? Are we, you know, like that was awesome, dude.
And, you know, most people think that it's the executive chef that did it or gets the credit or whatnot, but it's such a team effort. How many guys in that kitchen?
At the time, we were maybe 3. We're kind of like short staff at that time. So we all were helping each other, like taking care of 2 stations, maybe more. But the thing about this place, what I think is one of the best places I have worked, is about the team they had. You know, like everything's about the team. Like I remember this day, the chef comes to me and says, like, I'm gonna need 3 new pastas for the new menu. And I look at him like, what? It's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So it was such a great opportunity that they let you be creative and be part of the menu, be part of the team, be part of the whole thing, which is that place, you know. Every one of us like put a little piece for the menu. Then when the time comes, you light it up, all the dishes, chef comes in, tries it, and gives a green light.
That's
It's
got to
just,
feel pretty good, man, because I
yeah,
assume when you talk about chef, I mean, is it Curtis? He's the guy
yeah,
there. So
yeah, that's the guy.
yeah. I mean, that's got to feel pretty cool where when someone like that looks at your food, tastes your food, and
Yeah.
he's like,
Uh,
yeah, it's fucking good.
and I mean, the man is great, dude. He is very respectful. He comes to you, gives you advices when you need it. He's there with you, teaching you. Well, you know, he knows a lot. But I still remember this time when he came to me and said, like, your pasta was delicious. You know, I was like, ah,
Hell yeah.
that was one of the best moments of my life. You're like, you know, but that's what they're all about. You know, they're bringing out new chefs, creativities, and just to put them out there for the people. You know, and like I said, when you have 2, 3 guys that they love what they do, that's what happens. You get a Michelin star there.
It's passion.
You have to feel it. You know what I mean? You have to. There's things I said that you have to understand what you're doing, not just knowing. Knowing is good, but for me, like you have, just like I said, I feel like the pasta speaks to me. That's how I kind of interpret it.
There's got to be a lot of pressure working at a place like this because it's owned by a celebrity chef that a lot of people know. It's on the Michelin guide. I mean, that's not just a normal restaurant.
Yeah.
Compare it to, some of the other places you worked. Is it a stressful environment? Was it, I mean, going to work were you like, oh God, I got to do, I got to do good today.
I'm gonna like speak for myself and the experience I had there. Like at the beginning, it was kind of like intimidated for me because like you're working with these big chefs that they know what you're doing, right? But I get along right away, and it wasn't like I said, like the pressure on it. You don't feel it that much because everybody knows what they're doing, and the support they give you. Yeah, we got this. There's chefs that are like on you, oh this and that, you gotta make it perfect. No, they're all about growing. Like they leave you be and let's make it happen. So it doesn't feel that much pressure, but at the same time, you gotta understand where you're working. Yeah. You're not just gonna go and toss things out and send it. That ain't gonna happen. Because you gotta understand your place where you are and make it happen. The pressure kind of started a little after we got the start. Because like I said, we didn't know what was going on. And the reservations went off the roof the very first week. And you're like, wait, what? You're there like busting your ass for like what, 10 to 12 hours a day when it was like 8 to 10. Now it's 10 to 12 hours, Now that's when they feel the pressure because a lot of people like for big restaurants are like, oh, really? You're a Michelin star? Let's go see what you got. So you got to make sure the consistent on it. And yeah, man, so far we kept it because we love what we do. But yeah, you feel a little pressure in it to make it right.
But pride, though, right? You felt a lot of pride because you were part of that.
Yeah, and that exactly. Because now that you feel that, I feel like you make it even better every time. That's how I felt. Like I never thought in my life I would get there.
I haven't been to that place. Is it a big restaurant? Do you know how many seats?
I want to say like 150.
That's pretty big. So I can imagine there was VIP events, large parties that came in. That can be the worst, especially in a town like LA where you have high profile guests that are probably super picky and have ridiculous requests. Do you remember any events that were just like really shitty to work, like just a pain in the ass?
Maybe in other places, but here everything was like, how to say, very not strict. What's the word? Organized. There we go. Like we had special menus for events, and they had to pick which menu they want. And sometimes we got a buyout, like the whole place for themselves, and we had special menus for them. And they go for like, you have any allergies or stuff like that, so we know like what to do, and so we don't have those kind of situations where I don't want this or nah.
People don't realize how much planning goes into running a restaurant like that. Mm-hmm. You have the executive chef, and then you have all of the managers. What do you think, man? You think you want to do that? You want to run a big place like that?
I'm more like a simple man. I mean, that's great and all of that, But for me, I think it's more like I've been there, done that. I wasn't even on my plans to be that on that kind of category. But I mean, it happened, and I'm very proud. I'm very happy that it happened. But I see myself more like a traveling person, like learning about the cultures of the food in different parts of the world, and probably bring it all together in one place and make something out of it.
Is that what the future holds for you? You want to open your own place?
I think so. Like probably not as big, but definitely something that I can work out. Like I said, like I want to learn food from Japan. I want to learn from Portugal. Like and just bring it in one small place, have a nice environment. Like so people can be in for everybody. Just have a great time.
Well, you live in the right town to do that.
Yeah.
You gonna stay in the LA area?
I'm thinking 5-7 more years. Like I said, I want to travel. In Mexico, I want to learn like my culture, the whole culture, different parts of cooking. Because, Oaxaca like makes mole, but also in the north, like Michoacan also makes mole. But they're different type of mole. They use different spices. That's what I want to learn, to bring all those spices together, or maybe get spices from India and bring it back and combine it with the Mexican spices. And that's kind of what I want to do, though.
So when you go out, when you're not working and you're not eating at home, if you want to go grab something, what do you like to eat?
This is going to sound funny.
It always does. Every time. Let's hear it.
I eat junk food, though.
What do you mean junk food?
Like fucking hamburgers, fucking pizzas here and there. Even at home. I don't cook at home. But a lot of people think because you're a chef, like you cook all this fancy food at home, like, hell no.
You're tired. You're
tired. This is the last thing you want to do at home.
No, if you're an accountant and you spent 10 hours a day doing accounting, you're not going to go home and be like, I want to do some more accounting.
Hell no.
I just watch TV.
Like even my girl's like, why don't you cook for me? I do cook for her, by the way, but I'm like, I'm tired of cooking. And the other funny part is like when you go out and eat, we judge the food. She says like, could you stop? I'm like, I can't help it. That's what we do. And I'm sure like a lot of chefs will like relate to this.
What's your favorite burger place?
I like places that is like mom and pops places because they have like very classic burgers. Like just cheese, tomato, lettuce, some awesome sauce on it. They has the flavor in it, but it's not super extra with a lot of cheese and then another cheese.
People overcomplicate everything.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to food, like a basic cheeseburger. Have you seen the movie The Menu?
Oh my God, dude. I didn't even finish it.
What happened? You didn't like it?
I didn't. I thought it was like over, like extra and everything.
I mean, it's my kind of humor because it's all satire. Okay. It's just making fun of the entire industry and the whole Michelin thing and all that. But yeah, it was so over the top.
It was over the top. So I was like looking and I'm like, what is all this? This is not how it goes. No, this is not how it goes at all.
So it had the opposite effect on you. You got pissed off.
I mean, now that you say it, that it turned the table around, that is more like comedy a little bit. Maybe I'll give it a try again because I wanted to get into it. And I give it 2 tries. I'm like, I want to see it.
You remember the old movie Waiting? Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yes.
That shit's funny, man.
That is accurate. That is how it goes.
Unfortunately, it's accurate.
Unfortunately, that's how it goes. Like everything when you're cleaning and the 5 minutes before closing and you're like hoping to not get anything. Or like the first thing you wrap to put it away, that's what they order.
It's one of those industries where you can't make this stuff up because it's just so ridiculous and it happens all the time. And I really think that it would be good if every person that was growing up had to work at like it was a requirement. You had to work at a restaurant for like a year. You understand not just about food, but just about people and how shitty people can be.
Yes.
Customers at restaurants are the worst. They are the worst. You can have really nice people. I'm not saying it's all bad, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's like the worst of people can come out.
And the way you know it is because the servers come to the back and they just start like talking mad shit about these people. And then you have 2-3 servers around just yeah, I agree, and just talking mad shit, and then the line cook jumps in.
The moments where the front of the house and the back of the house get together and just gang up to talk shit. Those are like the best moments ever. Because normally they're totally separated. Yeah. And a lot of times they don't get along very well.
Yeah.
But there's a few things, and it's usually a bad customer to where everybody in the kitchen's like, yeah, fuck them.
fuck
April
that
26th.
Oh, exactly. Like, say they call the number, like this guy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I never done anything wrong on the food, but you know.
Of course.
You know.
Everybody blames you, though.
Everybody blames you. You know, this is what I love about restaurant, dude. I wouldn't change my job at all. Like, you meet such a unique people in there, and you can find the nice guy, the attractive guy, the chubby one, the tall one, the smoker, the drinker, like all kinds of people. And then when you come together and talk about like life stories, you're like, holy shit, dude. I love this industry. That one I can't say, but you know what I mean?
That's why I'm doing this podcast, man. There's so many people that have different backgrounds, different languages, worked as a dishy, worked as an executive chef, you know, a celebrity chef. It doesn't matter because all these people come together and they've figured out that food is what they want to do. And they all have the same stories.
When you are at work, you're talking about the parties, blah, 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 like when you went out. And when you're out there with them drinking, the only thing you talk about is about work.
Yeah, and what's funny is that even on the days off in a lot of restaurants, they come back to the restaurant.
They come to the restaurant.
Yeah, that's when you know you have a great place, is when all the servers in the back of the house, they'll just come in on their day off because they want to have a beer or shoot the shit or whatever.
Especially because we got 50% off.
Hey, that's shit.
You know?
Half off food, free food. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know, man.
It's been a lot of fun talking to you. Let people know how they can find you and, you know, whatever you want to share about yourself.
I mean, my name is, you know, like Alfredo Linares. You can follow me on Instagram. My name is Alfredo Pasta.
It's been a lot of fun, and I wish you the best in all the things that you're doing, and we'll talk later. Yeah,
man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me. This has been like a great opportunity to me, you know, like nothing but the best for you, brother.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Bye, everybody.